In the beginning, God created the light, the universe, the earth, and his most important creation, the Holy V8. Welcome to my new series in which I believe Fast and Furious is really the Holy Bible in disguise. I'll be going through every chapter in the Fast and Furious saga, starting with the First Testament. And where does our story take place? In the city of Los Angeles. Tearing up the streets currently is a man named Paul. Paul is currently a lost man. Not lost in general, like I'm sure he can find his way home. I'm just like talking metaphorically, he's like lost. Because of this, Paul kind of spends his days driving around aimlessly. And he is frustrated by this. Shit! Paul gets a sore tum-tum. So he decides to go for a spot of lunch. Little does Paul know, this will be the day that changes his life. Paul walks into what he thinks is an ordinary cafe with an ordinary waitress. He orders his classic lonely speedy life lunch.
I'll have the tuna.
No crust?
No crust.
With a mysterious figure hiding, lurking out back. Commotion. 4 mysterious cars rock up. They see Paul is driving a red pickup truck. And this guy here seems to think that Paul's name is Sandwich Crazy.
What's up with this fool? What is he, sandwich crazy?
Which is just silly because we all know his name is Paul. This guy actually is very unhappy with the business that Paul is giving.
Try Fat Burger from now on. You get yourself a double cheese with fries for $2.95.
Which, to be fair, is actually a really good deal. Like that, I would take that up as well. However, Paul, being a speedy racer, likes the tuna.
I like the tuna here.
This guy is very offended that Paul actually likes the tuna.
Bullshit, asshole. No one likes a tuna here.
Yeah, well, I do.
So this causes the two to get into a brawl. Which finally unlocks the first puzzle piece in Faith and Furious. The mysterious figure lurking in the background of the cafe is no ordinary figure. In the Bible, he goes by different names. This is the introduction of the Son of God himself.
Jesus Christ, get out there, please. I'm sick of this shit.
Jesus Christ. And it all makes sense. The ordinary cafe is a holy ground. And the mysterious cars outside belong to Christ's disciples. Jesse of Jetta, SX Letty, Leon of Skyline, and Mietta Mia. Turns out the man outside goes by the name Sandwich Crazy. Christ provides his swift justice and instantly stops the brawl. Now, throughout this series, I kind of want to make a book of quotes from Christ, and this actually is the first entry.
I'm in your face. Relax! Don't push it! You embarrass me!
Now, it's clear Paul isn't there for the tuna sandwiches. He too has heard of Christ's great work. And he decides it's time to go and visit him again, but this time goes to a gathering of Christ's followers. Now, many religions across the world have different places of worship. From temples to churches, people across the land seek out others to worship their God. In Faith and Furious, this place of worship is labelled turns up in his speedy car in the hopes of being worthy of the Lord. The Lord turns up in a V formation with his loyal followers. Now Paul's plan is to, I guess, challenge the Lord to a race to prove he's worthy with these two other racers, Gamer Boy and Bandana Boy. And if he loses, he will give up his own chariot.
I don't have any cash, but I do have the pink slip to my car.
It's on. His followers, without question, close down the streets so the race can begin.
What the hell's going on around here? Streets closed, pizza boy. Find another way home.
Each racer sort of goes through like a little ritual before the race starts. The Lord puts on some sick tunes. Gamer Boy prepares by playing a quick game of Gran Turismo. He flicks a few switches which give him a very detailed 3D bar chart, which I'm sure will give him the edge. And the race begins. Paul actually has a terrible start to the race. And to catch up, Paul initiates the Holy Nos. Instantly gives him the lead on the Lord. After doing this, he actually breaks his car, like the bolts kind of... But the Lord, he works in mysterious ways. He uses the AC button with the combination of the hazard light button, and that grants him an additional 100 horsepower. Paul, seeing this, slams on the brakes and gives up, which gives the Lord the win and Paul's green car. And at the end of the race, the Lord says some motivational words to inspire his followers.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
This leads to the introduction of one of the main villains in Faith and Furious.
We're at the top of this parking complex we always come to, and a cop rolled up. He's just chilling. Right there.
But oh no. The Lord is spotted.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 cop cars.
But saved by Paul. Jesus Christ and Paul drive to safety. But suddenly, the pair are flanked by something even worse than the very jealous people. A rival religion.
Great.
A bike gang. The leader of the bike gang, Johnny Test. He comes and says hello, and he actually says hi. He's actually quite impressed with Paul's car.
This your ride?
Everyone's had like a nice little say hello.
The guy in the snakeskin pants, that's his cousin Lance.
It's an amazing machine. Yes, indeed. Let's go.
They all go home on their motorbikes after saying hi. They were very polite, to be fair. But Johnny Test and Snakeskin Pants come back with ill intentions and destroy the car. Sinful in the Lord's eye. This leads the Lord and Paul to walk back all the way home. The following day, Paul is instantly busted. Cuffed. But it turns out
You take these things off. I mean, shit, you put them on so tight.
I like realism.
he's running with the jealous people all along. The very jealous people believe the Lord is involved in criminal activity, which is impossible as he is such a kind and distinguished gentleman. Undercover Paul shows up at the Lord's garage the next day with a sacrifice or an offering to give to the Lord. He's instantly mocked for bringing such a pristine looking car.
You could push this across the finish line or tow it.
Undercover Paul goes so far to call out the Lord for not believing in him.
No faith. Oh, I have faith in you, but this isn't a junkyard, this is a garage.
But it all works out for the best, as Paul is now accepted.
I'll tell you what, when you're not working at Harry's, you're working here.
As a disciple of Jesus Christ, now becoming Saint Paul. Undercover. The Faith start work on creating such a holy machine, and after a long day, it's time for dinner. The Faith gather at the Lord's house. And share a meal. Have some holy water. And they pray to what is all holy.
For providing us with the direct port nitrous
Amen. Not bad.
Praying to the car gods, man.
To this occasion, I shall name it. For days, the Lord and his fellow disciples are hard at work at creating the holy machine. The Lord actually reaches out to St. Paul as a bond is starting to form between the two.
I want to show you something.
Wow.
And reveals the first holy relic of the Faith and Furious series, the Dodge Charger. Christ then gives us something else for the book.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
As it turns out, Mietta Mia and St. Paul have a lot in common, and they go out for dinner and have a very relaxing drive. The new holy machine is finished. Naturally, they need to prove that this is a holy machine, and they go and test it on the streets. And the pair pull up alongside this typical friendly
Nice car.
Ferrari owner.
What's the retail on one of those?
More than you can afford, pal. Ferrari.
And with that lovely comment, the Lord commands St. Paul to
Smoke.
St. Paul is fully trusted. He is invited to this car meet, which is on like a grand scale. And the best way to explain it really is if like a car meet had steroids, it'd be like that.
What's up, man? Welcome to Race Wars.
But it's from this point on, the cracks in the faith start to appear.
Throwing down the pink slip, just like you.
The Son of God, Jesse of Jetta, is up for a drag race. The winner of this race, well, they get the rival's car, which is great. And we love Jesse of Jetta. He's a great guy. He's a genius. Is he good enough to race the bike gang leader,
Who are you racing?
who is upgraded from 2 wheels into 4? With tension building, can Jesse of Jetta take on Johnny Test and get his Honda S2000? Unfortunately not. Jesse of Jetta gets absolutely shafted and actually is so embarrassed that he just flees the car meet in general. Meanwhile, the Faith and Jesus Christ are keeping the bike gang very busy. After that little tussle, the Faith slip away into the night and Undercover Paul is immediately sus. As it turns out, the very jealous people have it all wrong. The Lord just wants to give everyone a long vacation.
After this, it's a long vacation for everyone.
Mietta Mia, trying to find Christ, calls out his name.
Jesus Christ!
But she is stopped by St. Paul.
Just get in that car with me right now. You have to help me.
Now, whilst this is all going on, the Faith are getting torn up. Essex Letty gets wrecked. Sandwich Crazy is in major trouble. And all hope looks lost. Undercover St. Paul arrives just in the nick of time. He saves Sandwich Crazy. whilst calling for help for Sandwich Crazy, undercover St. Paul reveals his true identity.
It's Officer Brian O'Connor. I'm off duty MAPD.
Which makes Christ furious. His title now being stripped from him. He is no longer a saint. He's no longer undercover. He is just back to being Paul. But Paul is still in pursuit. Christ, now on the run, flees back home to retrieve his own holy relic.
I'm not running!
Sorry, he's not running. I take that back. Jesse of Jetta arrives back safe and sound, and everything is well. Christ is relieved by seeing Jesse of Jetta.
Jess! What were you thinking, man?
Until disaster. Johnny Test and Snakeskin Pants strike back with revenge. Not only do they shoot up the Holy Land of the Lord, but it takes out our boy Jesse of Jetta.
Jesse! Jesse! No, Jesse!
Rest in peace, Jesse of Jetta. Using the holy relics, they lay down swift almighty powers against the bike gang. The Lord targets Snakeskin Pants. He sends him off a cliff and he falls to his death. Paul actually catches up to Johnny Test quite quickly and ends him in a sweet little drift. The Lord tests Paul's faith for the final time. The challenge of beating the oncoming train. Paul finally having a reason to go fast. Finally has that purpose. He now has a home. A family. He proves to Jesus Christ that he is truly worthy. Christ, now blinded by the happiness he has for St. Paul, does not see the big truck right in front of him. How does a man survive such a crash? He is literally Jesus Christ. And this is merely a scratch for him. Paul gives over the keys to his own holy relic. Finally getting the respect of Christ. This is the first chapter of Faith and Furious. I hope you liked it. Become a follower of family, part of the faith, and hear the amazing next 9 tales of Faith and Furious.